I'm Patrick Dufour. And I'm a commercial fisherman. I'm a marine bio major at UNCW. I've been here for 3.5 years. I'm sort of still in the transition of knowing when I'm going to graduate. So Chase invited me here to talk about really the early parts of my life in Africa and moving here to the United States. I was born in '93. It was, I guess, it's third world country, so there's not really any technology. We were, in my class, there was one white kid and 300 black kids, so it was interesting. When we lived there in Senegal, our house was right there on the beach, and it was great being able to wake up and hear the ocean, and enjoyed being part of that ecosystem, which we would always go to the beach and catch fish. And I can remember when we were 3 and 5, my older brother Jackie, my dad would drag us out there, and he wanted to make sure that we were worthy of the ocean, so we'd go out there on rough days, and he would take us offshore, and we'd go catch sailfish and badesh, which is sort of like the gag grouper here. And I could just remember we'd go out and catch 15 to 20 sailfish, and it was really rough. So most of the time it involved my brother and I crying the whole time while my dad was doing all the fishing, really. But that just, at an early age, you learn to just stay calm on the ocean. Yeah, I've been very fortunate to have a father that brought me into the outdoors, and so ever since the beginning, really, of even remembering, we were brought out there on a little boat. We had a little skiff. It was a 13-foot aluminum skiff, and we would go out there and bottom fish, and he would take us scuba diving, and we'd go catch sailfish on the boat, which was a lot of fun. And I guess we just imprinted it in our brains that, the ocean is a fun place to be, and we learned a lot of our experiences from the ocean. So in 2005, my dad decided to buy us a boat because he just had to get back on the ocean. It was a 25-foot Parker, and we started out going out there with our father, fishing inshore mostly and catching bottom fish. We cut bait, and on an average day we go through 80 pounds of bait, maybe 100 pounds of bait sometimes, and that's most of the time going to be going after grouper. We go out and we cast net our own shad, which migrate here in May, and you can catch them throughout the summer. The most important part is being able to stay on top of those fish, because they won't really, you can be 30 feet away from them and they won't even be able to see the bait. So most of the time, once we anchor up, if we get on a good spot, we might catch 10 or 15 gag grouper. And what the fish dealers ask from us is to make sure that they're iced well and that we gut them. So we empty the gut cavities, and we stick them in the fish hold where we ice them down. Try to keep it, you don't want them on the deck for more than 5 to 10 minutes. When we get back from offshore, most of the time our fish have already been sold by the time we get back. There's a lot of demand for locally caught bottom fish, and our buyer, Tim Griner, he lives in Charlotte, and he'll come down here every week and pick up, sometimes we have 1,500 pounds, sometimes it's 2,000 pounds. And he'll pick them up with his ice chest truck, and he'll drive them back to the Triangle area. And most of the time he wholesales them back to restaurants where they're sold as your dinner on your dinner plate. Bottom fish are fish that are benthic. They aggregate around structure and any sort of bait area or grass. These fish are mostly the black sea bass, the triggerfish, vermilion snapper, which you might hear people call beeliner, or gag grouper, scamp grouper, just a fish that doesn't really move too much. They do migrate and they congregate in big areas during like spawning times, but most of the time they stay in the same area. During my school days, I try to pick out schedules to where I can get away from class for a little while. And I've got a little duck boat here, which we go fishing on. So you can tell I like to go fishing a good amount. So whenever we have 3 or 4 hours, we'll come out here, and actually right under us right here, you can catch flounder and red drum and spot, croakers, whatever you really want to target. So in 15 years, I'd like to hopefully still be able to get out in the water, but I have realized that, if you go offshore every day, you're gonna lose, your social life. You can't really raise a family if you decide to go offshore every day. So maybe that's why I've decided to get into the marine biology, fisheries biology degree, because I am fortunate enough to understand the fishery and the ecosystem that the fisheries biologists have to make rules on, the laws. Mon nom est Patrick Dufour. C'est mon petit histoire de la pêche et l'Afrique. Et merci de m'avoir ici. Et j'espère que tu es content avec la vie de Patrick Dufour. Hey, I'm Patrick Dufour, and I'm a commercial fisherman.
Okay.